Backwoodsman Institute. My name is Scott Fromey, and well, tonight we've taken the deer from the field. We've field dressed it. We've taken it in, checked it in. We skinned it and deboned it. Now here's what we got. The next step is actually processing the meat. I've soaked the meat. I've had some food grade buckets, and I got an old refrigerator that I use here in the basement. And I'll put the meat in water with salt in it, and that salt solution is like brine. It draws a lot of the blood out of the meat, and that's what gives it the gamey taste. So if you got family members or friends that you want to serve wild game to, they're not used to or not accustomed to the wild game taste of the meat, that's what it'll do to take care of that. Now I've used, I don't prefer to use like iodized salt. It's regular table salt. Sometimes if you're soaking it just for 1 or 2 days, it probably doesn't matter. But I use regular canning and pickling salt. It's just plain salt, and that's what I use to draw a lot of that out with. So whenever I'm soaking meat or brining, that's what I use here is the canning salt. So I keep that on hand, a lot of that on hand. Right now tonight, I'm going to do a little multitasking. I got a pot of water going. And if you remember, when we field dressed the deer, I saved the heart. So what I do with the heart, I cook it down and what they call pickle it, which you're just cooling it, putting it in some vinegar and onions and eating it like that. But first step of that is to cook it. After it's done cooking, we'll let it cool, and then we'll slice it pretty thin, and that's what we're going to snack on. But like I said, I cut the heart in half, cleaned it up real good, and all I'm going to do is drop it in some water here. First off, I'm going to go ahead and season the water up with some salt and pepper. Try to get a little bit of flavor in. Okay, it's starting to get pretty warm. Go ahead and just drop it in there and let it, basically just boiling it. Now also, while I got the pot of water going, I got some squirrel here too, so I'm going to go ahead and cook some squirrel in with it. And I'll fry that later on tonight for supper, along with my deer tenderloins. I'm making some deer tenderloins and some fried squirrel for supper. So, get all that cooking. Okay, here as you can see is the tenderloin. That's the part that was on the inside of the backbone. Right here, and you see how tender it is. You can almost just peel the meat apart. But I'm going to go ahead and clean that up tonight and get that ready I'll go ahead and fry that for supper too. So, squirrel and deer tenderloins for supper. Okay, I got my tenderloins all cut up the way I want them. Go ahead and put them off to the side. While I was doing that, I got my loins out. I'm going to get ready to trim them up. First off, what I'm going to show you, remember that piece of sinew that I got off the back? We're just going to scrape that down. Like I said, I'm going to use the flat of my knife for the edge and just kind of scrape it off. I'm just scraping it. Scrape both sides of it. Okay, as you can see right there, I got a nice piece of sinew. All I have to do with that is I'll hang that up and dry it. Just let it get dry. Lay that off to the side, and then I'll go ahead and trim my my loins up, get them on nice squared off. Put them in my hamburger bucket, my ends. Alright, now I'm going to cut up, nice, whatever size steaks I want. Now I kind of like steaks about that big. So I'll just go ahead and start staking it out. Okay, that'll take care of the chops. Chops are, like I said, it's a loin. Remember that part that came down both sides of the backbone? Nice long strip of meat there. All I did was cut it up in steaks or chops. I like to grill them. So I'll go ahead and get that all ready to go, and then I'll just package it however many I want for a meal. Depends on how big your family is, how big a cookout you're having, and I'll freeze that all together in one section there. Kind of divvy that up a little bit. Okay, what I've done here is the heart and squirrel we're done cooking. I got them all out and drained. Actually got to start frying up the tenderloin. Squirrels are already fried up. Got a few more pieces of tenderloin to fry up for supper. I'm going to eat. So I got the hearts cooling off. What I'll do is I'll slice that up later. And then while all this is going on, I'm still trying to trim off a lot of the fat and stuff off of different cuts and decide what's going to go in the hamburger and what's going to go in the cannon. So this is about ready for supper. Okay, see if I can't show you guys what I got going on here. There's the meat here I'm trimming up, my chops. There's the meat I'm working on. Okay, there's the tenderloin being fried up for supper. Go ahead and try and get a shot at the heart. That heart down in there is cooling off. So, am I making you hungry? Sure am trying. Here, just want to show you guys what a meal fit for a king is. Fried sweet potatoes, a little bit of dressing, squirrel, and some deer tenderloin.